Hey, 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 good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Hope you guys had a great Monday. It is March 1st, man. This year is moving by pretty fast, even though we're not able to do what we need to do or want to do, but time waits for nobody. As y'all know, time is ticking. Today's guest, man, special guest. I've never met him. Um, but eventually, I know when I get back to Detroit, Michigan, eventually we will link up. And man, it's I heard a lot of great things about this young man, and I'm excited to learn more and more information about him. And he's going to give us a lot of information about a lot of things. So, no further ado, I'm gonna bring my guy here, Mr. Edwin Peart, to the screen. What's going on, Mr. Peart?
Hey, what's happening? How you doing?
Man, I'm enjoying life.
Great, me too. The first thing I must say thank you for is you called me young. So I don't hear that often. So yep, yep. Thank you so much. I'm doing
Yeah,
fantastic.
man, that's good. That's good, man. Like I said, glad to have you on. I heard great things about you, the great things that you're doing for yourself, the community, and likewise, man. Like I said, we're going to touch a lot of points of and things you've done in your life. So we're gonna start off. Like I said, everybody knows comments. We're gonna shoot. We're gonna shoot it. Questions, they gonna come for you. I don't. Hey,
All right.
guys, I tell my viewers, don't don't let them off the hook. He in the hot seat now. Ask whatever. I'm putting them up there. Putting them
All
up
right.
there. Youth is in the mind in the heart. You right. You right.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So no, first off, I'm gonna say, hey, where were you born and raised?
Yeah, I was born in Detroit. I've been a Detroiter all my life, although I live just outside the city limits right now. I live in Southfield, but I've been in Detroit uh, all of my 64 years young. So, um, native Detroiter, Detroit Public Schools, Durfee, and then Central High, Wayne State graduate. Everything I've done has been from the nucleus of the city of Detroit. So yeah, I'm a Detroiter.
There you go. Was that a? Did you do that on purpose to stay in the state or in the city to go to college?
Yeah, after I got to that point, yes, I did because I was deep into bowling by that time, and so in order to uh, do what I was doing, which was bowling and bowling a lot, and
Yep.
fulfilling the promise that I had promised my parents, particularly my mother, to go to college. Uh, it all happened right there in the city, so it all fell into place for me too. So it was the right thing to do and the absolute right place to do it.
There you go. Born and raised in Detroit. What's up, Novi? I hope that knee is doing good over there.
Yeah, that's my homegirl there. The only thing I got against Novi is my family's kind of a U of M family, and she's a Michigan State.
Ooh, ooh,
I gotta,
yes,
but it's all from love. So
yes. She is die hard green and white for sure.
absolutely, I love her for that.
But no, hey, any siblings?
Yeah, I'm the middle child of three, obviously. Had an older brother and I have a younger sister. My older brother passed away a couple of years ago, but we were all 4 years apart. So I was the what I call the neglected middle child, but actually we all had fantastic childhoods. So
Okay,
I was in the enviable position. I had a big brother and a baby sister.
okay. Everybody bold?
Actually, my brother bowled a little bit because, like I said, he was 4 years older, and he continued to do it because I loved to do it. My sister, has had a bowling ball in her hand just from a casual standpoint. But no, I'm of the siblings, I'm the only bowler in the family. My father used to bowl, which is how I got started at the age of 8 at Lucky Strike. lanes down
Okay.
Dexter and Grand River. Yep.
Is that bowling alley still there?
Not at all. No, it's not. It's across from what used to be the old Northwestern High School, but no, the bowling alley's been gone for a while, as is most of the inner city urban bowling alleys that I've known and have come around, and all of those they've either burned or were, renovations or things like that. So no, they're all gone. Lucky Strike's.
And see, that's jacked up, man. They just start taking all our stuff away.
Yeah. But the thing that those bowling alleys provided was it provided a closeness for the black bowlers, because there were only a limited amount of bowling alleys that you could go to in the 60s. You couldn't go everywhere where we go to bowl now. You couldn't cross Bowtie in Detroit. Is 8 Mile kind of stops the city limits. So, you couldn't cross 8 Mile and go bowling, particularly in the early 60s, mid 60s. So it was only about, 6 or 7 or 8 bowling alleys that you could bowl if you were black.
And see, that's crazy, man. How was your childhood? Because like I said, not being from Detroit, we hear, oh, Detroit was this, Detroit was that. How was your childhood growing up in Detroit?
It was fantastic, and it was safe. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. So, like I said, I started bowling at Lucky Strike around the time I was 8. And I was instructed by a guy named Eddie Franklin, Walter Parham, who's the father of world-renowned saxophonist Dwayne Parham, who's from Detroit, and Yvonne Barnes. So after that, 5 or 6 years, and there was some hell of a bowlers at Lucky Strike, obviously. Larry Robinson. There's a guy that me and him had the world's greatest one-on-one match, Gary Payne. We were both strong youth bowlers, and we had a match, and we bowled 2 games, and we tied them both. But anyway, back to the we tied them both, and then we let it go. But back to the childhood, ended up bowling at Bowlerdrome, which was probably about 4 to 5 miles down. And when we were like 13 or 14, we used to walk from the Bowlerdrome to Lucky Strike just to look at the scores of the real good bowlers at the time. And this was through neighborhoods, dark. We'd walk back at, 11, 12, 1 in the morning. And we were never concerned about our safety, and nothing ever happened. So my childhood was cool. Everything that you hear about Detroit in terms of recklessness and danger is not true, particularly back at the time that I was growing up. So
okay, well that's always good to know, because like I said, not being from a place and hearing, oh man, you don't want to go walk here, or it's dangerous, or this person, you never know until we actually get some stories from somebody that walked the streets itself.
Yeah, I don't know if I would walk it now. I'd probably drive it now. I'm pretty sure. But you can grow up, you feel safe where you grow up, and you obviously, you grow up with that little edge on, and you know how to take care of yourself. But anywhere that you're not from, anywhere that's strange is dangerous. So I love Detroit, and I'm comfortable in Detroit. So
there you go. Any challenges what kind of challenges did you face growing up in Detroit, though? Street-wise, did you kind of get caught up in the street life?
I told you I had a brother that was 4 years older. So I share this story with very few. He was in the streets way more than I was. And because he was a big brother, he was a protective brother. So I used to have to walk 3 to 4 blocks to get to the Bowlerdrome, the bowling alley where I used to bowl all the time. And sometimes it was at night. He had carved out him and his crew, or his thugs. There was like a square mile area. I could go from those that know it, I could go from Oakland to Chicago, and I could go from Woodrow Wilson to Dexter. And if anybody ever stopped me for money, and all I had to say is, I'm Ronnie Peart's brother. And it happened about 3 or 4 times. He said, He said, if they say, give them the money, tell them whose brother you are. And on 4 to 5 occasions, they gave the money back. So I was kind of insulated from a lot of that stuff, which was cool.
There you go.
Yeah. It's my big brother.
So Eddie Craig Jr. said, I didn't know you started at Lucky Strike. I thought you were born and raised at the Drone.
No, Eddie, I used to bowl with Darius Mann, Larry Robinson, those types of people at Lucky Strike, Dwayne Williams, all of those guys. So I started there, and then I transitioned down to the Bowlerdrome. So, but I'm known as a Bowlerdrome bowler, even though I started at Lucky Strike. So I don't hold it against those Lucky Strikers. So, and we have a nice camaraderie and nice competition and those types of things, particularly Gary Payne. So,
hey, look, Jess Seiler, he said, die-hard bowlers from the good old days. Did you ever get some good advice during one of those late night visits?
Every once in a while, a lot of the times after we walked down there, the leagues were finished. We would just look at the scores on the scorecards. So we would walk down there, look at the scores. They'd be jackpotting. So yeah, I'd get a few tips from Johnny Red, Bobby Williams, John Barnhill, those, and then we would walk a little further down to the arena and watch roller derby, and then we'd go back home. That's why we were getting home at 1 o'clock. We'd walk another mile down to Grand River and McGraw, watch roller derby, and then go home. Yeah,
roller derby.
Nice childhood. Yeah, we did all of that stuff.
That's crazy. Hey, did you have mom and dad in the house the entire childhood?
Yes, till I got about 17, and then they divorced, and then my father died 10 days after I turned 18. So,
wow.
So yeah, but they were in the house the whole, up until then. Yeah.
That's always a bonus right there.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
Look, Daryl Edwards he said, tell us about that historical youth team you guys had that won the state.
Yeah, we won the state title. We used to call ourselves the Powerhouse Five. It was me, Daryl Dawson, Steve Edwards, which is Daryl Edwards' uncle, Tyrone Middlebrook, and Eddie Combs. Yep. And we knocked them off in the state tournament, the youth state tournament. That was probably one of my first championships. Yep. Of many. But yeah.
There you go. Hey, what other sports did you play growing up?
Messed around with basketball. I wasn't excellent in basketball, but I was okay. But I was better in baseball. Yeah, I was better in baseball and almost played baseball in high school. But when you get to be 13 and 14 and you're bowling and you're making that hustling money bowling, it'll be a little bit distracting.
At 13 and 14, you was already making money. You was out there hustling.
Oh yeah, absolutely. 13, 14, 15. There was a guy, one of the best bowlers I've ever seen. His name was Maurice Kilgore. His name was Ace, nicknamed Ace, and one of the best hustlers that I ever had seen as well. So I used to have a guy that drove a bus that used to stop the bus at the bowling alley and play like 14 and 15, and we would kind of clip him doing some different things. But yeah. When you're a bowler, you start gambling early. And they're still gambling early. And it's a lot of ways it's good to see. It's excellent to see, because that's how you learn.
Being in Detroit, and like you said, African Americans wasn't welcomed everywhere. What kind of challenges did you face being African American, doing something that you really enjoy, where it was dominated majority by the white?
Yeah, well, after we got like 16, 17, and you started driving, we used to go jackpot in different areas in the white communities, and virtually every time we crossed 8 Mile Road, we got a moving violation. We got a driving ticket. So we knew that we had to win a little more than what we would have normally had to win because we always had to pay for that ticket
Right.
that we were going to get.
And no
And
matter
then,
what,
yeah,
you knew you was gonna get a ticket. Is that what you telling me?
yeah. As soon as we crossed Schaefer, that turned into Coolidge. When you crossed 8 Mile, but before we got to 9 Mile, we were pulled over, and we had to go that way because one of our partners lived that way. So,
wow,
absolutely. And then the other, you know, the normal racism stuff, you know, nigga go home, all of that stuff while you're bowling, and you know, cheating, and you know, everything. So it was a lot of everything that we had to deal with.
So how did you overcome all of that to just keep pushing through that? And like I said, I know we got probably some youth people, some young guys listening as well, like myself. How do you get through that?
Well, you have to have mental strength and perseverance and knowing what you're doing is right, and then you can't let what somebody else wants you to do deter you. You know, I grew up. I used to walk home, and one of the things that used to happen, you know, you walk through a different neighborhood, and the guys will say, "Look, don't walk on this side of the street. You know, if you walk on the street, I'm gonna take care of you." I told my father that. He said that better be the first side of the street that you walk on. So you can't be intimidated by people like that. That's supposed to be the first thing you do. When somebody tells you you can't do it, that's supposed to be the first thing you do. So that's what and my crew did. I was around some fantastic guys at that time, you know, Reggie Denard, David Chappelle. It wasn't just me. I was, in some cases, the mildest guy in the group. So we weren't, we weren't going to be intimidated. Matt Troop, you know, so, you know, these guys kind of knew how to kind of handle themselves as well. So.
Wow, that's see, and people don't understand what we have to go through as African Americans just to play a sport. And you know,
right. So as things progressed through my career, I became the first black bowler on a team called Stroh's Beer, which was an all-white team.
Okay.
So one of the things that happened in some of those exhibitions, and we used to go to the 17 states that marketed Stroh's, and we would do bowling exhibitions on the weekend, and we were getting paid to bowl. At the time, we were getting paid, this was in like 1977, 78, we were getting paid $15,000 a year just to bowl on the weekends and in the leagues. Plus we kept our pride. We would go do these exhibitions, and many times, the time I left on Friday till the time I came back on Sunday night, I didn't see anybody black. So I would get the, you know, nigga go home. We canceled two exhibitions because they were going to have Ku Klux Klan rallies. One of them on a Saturday and one on a Sunday. So we canceled the thing. So yeah.
So how did you get picked to bowl on that team, being the only black guy?
Well, I'm sure there was some politics in it as well, but you know, at the time, I was the best bowler in the city by virtue of leading the league in average, of which there was some deception there, and they stole that back and said it was a tie. You know, did some maneuvering with the statistics. So Stroh's was known as getting the best bowlers, and if they were looking at the best bowler, then at the time, I'm the one who they would have gotten. So, and it proved out. The following year, we won the national championship, team championship, which I led the team in scoring on that. So at the time, that it was a lot of emphasis on team bowling. So the sponsored teams wanted the better bowlers if they were going to win. So that's how that went.
Wow. Hey, growing up, who do you consider to be one of your biggest mentors, your life mentors that was like, man, he kind of kept me in a straight line?
Ooh, well, with life, it would have been my father. With bowling, it would have been a guy by the name of John Barnhill, who actually was neighbor of my mother's. So he was kind of watch over me and kind of give me guidance both on the lanes and off. So yeah, he was a very cool fella. The way he dressed, from the way he carried himself, from the way he never showed anger, from the way he handled himself around women. I mean, this guy was just something else. How slick of a hustler he was. I don't know. I don't think he ever had a job. I don't think
Really?
I don't think Barney ever worked. Nope.
Wow. Man. So once you start bowling, what do you consider to be your biggest accomplishment on the lanes?
Wow. It's easy to say the ABC title, and I'm a member of two Hall of Fame, the Greater Detroit Bowling Hall of Fame and the SSO Hall of Fame, which is an organization for seniors. And by the way, that that organization is run by a gentleman, Lou Ansera, who's a very strong benefactor of bowling, both white and black. He sponsors black bowlers as well. But I think the greatest accomplishment in bowling is just the longevity, the meeting of so many strong relationships, but probably cracking that color barrier with Strohs, because prior to that, it was still very divisive, black and white. So that kind of cracked things open, and now bowlers, even many of them that don't realize it, can go a lot of places, not just because of me. And that's one of the things I want to put emphasis on. These ladies and men that bowled, black bowlers in the 50s, 60s, that couldn't go, all of the places that bowlers can go now. Those are the guys that we're standing on the shoulders of those guys. So
Right.
I'm probably Bowtie, the one of the links in between those older bowlers and the younger bowlers now. So that's one of the big accomplishments, is I'm able to be that link in between them and be able to communicate with the younger ones, as well as still have a tie to the older ones, but not just the older ones that were strong, accomplished bowlers. Those bowlers that went through there and took some hits and some, maybe some slaps upside the head or some verbal abuse, that weren't excellent bowlers, deserve the same credit as those that did.
Oh yeah. So look, Maurice Moore, you know that guy. I know you met him, right?
Yeah.
You met him before?
Mm-hmm.
Like he
Yep.
said, Bob Appling talked about you and Stroker so much, he had to meet you guys personally. Still look up to you guys. Great Hall of Famers.
Yep. And Bob Appling was an excellent person. Oh my stars. Very high integrity guy. Very, very high integrity guy.
Oh yeah. Man. So I see this Detroit Black Bowlers Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What made you start this? And where do you see it going in the near future?
Well, actually, it's limitless on where it can go. It's actually the brainchild of one of those guys that was on that youth state championship, Daryl Dawson, known as Tahuti. It's his brainchild. We're just, and it's a mutual dream. But one of the things that's important is that Detroit is the bowling mecca of the world, and pretty much for all of bowling, but definitely for black bowling. And when you look at it, there's no historical records of a lot of the things that were accomplished by black bowlers. And so when you look at you look at baseball, you look at basketball, there's a Hall of Fame in all of those sports.
Absolutely.
So Bowtie, when the white tour used to tour around the country, when they came to Detroit and then wanted to get their hustle on, they went to 20 Grand, which was a black bowling alley and hustled with the guys, and many times left their prize fund here. So the talent here has been tremendous all of the time. And so what this Hall of Fame, what we want to do is identify the early trailblazers, as well as not wait for the younger bowlers that are now excellent to recognize them too. So we want to do some education, recognize the young bowlers, and have the young bowlers get educated to the forerunners, the people that came before them and gave them the opportunity. And this vehicle that we have with this Detroit Black Bowlers Hall of Fame is planned to do just that.
There you go. Let's see here. We're gonna come back. We're gonna come back to talking about the Hall of Fame. Let's see. Daryl said, "Can you
Please,
give us?"
we need to.
Oh yeah. Can you give insight on the bowling conditions today versus the conditions during the old days? Do you find the conditions extremely easier?
Well, in terms of scoring, they would be. When we were young, now they use machines, that can put patterns down on the lane. So, they can put difficult patterns, they can put easier patterns. When we were coming up, they would just use like a pesticide machine, put oil in, spray it all over the lane, and the oil would just fall where it may.
And see, I heard that before. I have never ever seen that though.
You go in the bowling alley after that being done, and it would just be the whole bowling alley would just be misty because they've been spraying the lanes with this. So there was no pattern.
Wow.
And so, yeah, the lanes were extremely tougher. When we used to go and watch, like I said, we'd walk to Lucky Strike, you'd look at a league sheet and you'd have maybe one person, maybe two, averaging 200. It was like maybe 201, 202. The
Right.
real good bowlers average like 189, 193, 195, 196. So, but as in any sport, that evolves, it could be golf, tennis, equipment gets better, lane conditions get better, the golf courses get a little easier and a little wider. So, scoring, but I tell you what, talent always comes to the top. Those bowlers that are the better bowlers shoot more 60s and 70s and 300s than a marginal bowler. It just happens. The scoring, the numbers go higher, but the better bowlers still win.
They still rise to the top, is what you're telling me.
Look how many times Gerald Johnson rose to the top.
Oh man, that guy there.
Right.
Boy, I don't even want to talk
It
about
wouldn't
that.
matter if they were easy or tough. The better bowlers are going to rise to the top. That's just how it is. Rodney Sparks, Novella Daniels, Tamika Glenn. I mean, that's just how it is.
Yeah. So
Mason Brown.
Danielle Mason, Gigi's mom, say black girls can bowl too. Jasmine Gigi Mason gave homage and recognition to the bowlers before us every day in February on the Black Girls Can Bowl 2 page. If y'all didn't see it, y'all can go back and check it out. She most definitely did that.
Absolutely. And I've got a list of females that just come to mind, both forerunners and the present. When you talk about the forerunners, you talk about I told you how the emphasis was on team bowling. Motown Records sponsored a team of ladies that included Lavolia Brown. Her nickname was Bowley. Lavolia Brown, Donzella Brown, Marge Lewis, Yvonne Barnes. These guys, Frida Chandler. These ladies were just stunning in looks and stunning on the lanes and knocked them down. And then you can see the transition, how that legacy just began. And they handed the baton off to Cheryl Daniels, Novella Daniels, Tamika Glenn, Mickey Webb, Carlita Borders. I mean, it just continues all the way through to young ladies right now that are either high school or collegiate level. Naomi Smith and Candace Bradley. So it's not a gender-driven sport. Those females that I just indicated and named are, and I'm sure I missed some. So,
Yeah.
That's
And
the
it's
thing
crazy.
when
I
you
never knew it was so many women scratch bowlers until I start really going around and looking. I was like, man, where are these chicks from? And a lot of them was from Detroit.
yeah, yeah. You got Miss Burke. Yeah. It's so many. It's so many that Detroit's Mecca. And you start
So,
talking about the men and the young men, it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
oh,
The talent
100%.
is unbelievable, which is why you have black bowlers from other parts of the country move here. You know, George Gohagan was a Detroiter for a minute. He moved here because of the action that was here. You know, excellent bowlers move to Detroit for a reason. They don't always stay. You know, they ran out. But you know,
So, like I
George
said,
certainly didn't get run out. George wins everywhere as well.
oh, 100%. It doesn't matter where he goes. You're absolutely
Right,
right.
right. Hmm.
Back to the Detroit Black Bowlers Hall of Fame.
Yes.
What like so at what age do you consider somebody to be Hall of Fame? What needs to be on their resume? What are you looking for? What is the criteria?
I don't know if it's an age-driven thing. Certainly, longevity. When you talk about Hall of Fame, there has to be some sense of longevity, unless you're in the trailblazer category or something like that. But it's not an age-driven thing. You know, I talked about Candace and I talked about Naomi. Depending on what their accomplishments and their consistency is over the next, several years, decade, you can easily, with accomplishments, be in the Hall of Fame based upon a shorter period of time. But certainly it's dedication to the sport, it's love of the sport. It's sacrificing for the sport. It's many things. And obviously, winning only enhances it. So, everybody always likes to look at championships and look at wins, and they certainly are important. But at some point, it's character, integrity, opening doors for others, sacrificing for others. Yeah. Commitment. It can be a teacher. It can be a bowling teacher that never throws a ball at all. It can be a sponsor, somebody that's giving of their time, somebody that's giving of their resources in order for the betterment of the game. All of those things can contribute to whether you're a Hall of Famer. Not only bowling talent on the lanes.
Right. There you go. They're just talking about her. She said, "Hey, Peart."
There she goes. And I mentioned her a little earlier. Hello, Carlita. How are you?
Yeah. So Denise Sloan Blackman, she's down here in our area. She says, my auntie was part of a women's bowling league in the late 30s and early 40s in Detroit. Family history says it was the beginning of TNBA, the Negro Bowling Association.
Absolutely. That association, and thank you, Denise, for that. This goes way before the 50s and 60s, because at that point, when that organization was organized, it was organized because they couldn't get into the traditional white organization, the ABC. So
right.
someone had the wherewithal to start their own organization, the TNBA, in order to have a forum for black bowlers to bowl, for us to bowl. Yeah.
So when you see the direction that TNBA has went now, how does that make you feel?
You said I was in the hot seat, didn't you?
Hey,
you said your listeners were going to send in the hot questions, and here you go. But yes, but thanks for the question, because it's a very important one. It's a very important one. The TNBA was started because of our inability to bowl in those other organizations. And for many, many years, it provided the forum for the best black bowlers across the country to showcase their talents. And there would be several tournaments throughout the year, one of them being in Cleveland during the month of February, that used to attract 300, I want to make sure I'm right, 300 and about 40 of the top black bowlers across the country. People would come from LA, Philadelphia, the East Coast, obviously, uh, and bowl in this tournament. I think what has happened over the years with capitalism, and this is an uncensored show, right?
Hey, you speak on how you want to speak.
You know, we've been so forgiving as Blacks to allow inclusion, even though we were excluded in many cases. So there should have been some type of way to keep the organization, at least in my opinion, I'm 64, Black, although I'm not a racist, but to keep it the organization's original charters. If they had a constitution, we'd have been living by that particular constitution. But what has happened is now the TNBA has become diluted because not only just from a black-white thing, but the TNBA now has begun to allow professional amateurs of both races to come into the organization and with brackets and jackpots and things like that, kind of dilute the importance of the TNBA as well as dilute the participation in the tournament.
It was so crazy. I bowled TNBA Nationals in Florida one year. And if we all walked in, you see a lot of, African Americans bowling, and so, a mixture race of all throughout the bowl, but you see a lot of Blacks. An older Black woman came in there and said, I have never seen this many Black people in the bowling alley ever in my life. And I kind of turned and looked at her. I didn't say anything because I didn't know who she was, but I just turned and looked at her like, did she really just say that? So to me, that just seems like, that just shows we do show up when we want to. But now when you see a lot of TNBA events, you don't even see a lot of us anymore at like that. So it's hard.
And like I said, I'm not racist and I'm all for inclusion. It's just that you have to make sure that you structure your bylaws and you structure your constitution, whatever you want to call it, to tie into the original intent of what the organization stood for. So if the organization stood for an organization that highlighted African American bowlers or Black bowlers, then that's what the bylaws should have continued to do. But it changed, and then you get money in there. And then you throw some money in there, and you throw that one way or the other with sponsors and bowling ball sponsors and things like that. It goes that way, but everything changes. So, and certainly we're in a diverse time in history, so we should be honoring and embracing diversity. But in the case of the TNBA, and you asked the TNBA specific question, I think it was what I said. I think they just lost sight of what the organization was for, and yeah, and now it's gone now it's gone sideways. Now it's gone sideways.
Hey, here's another question for you. And I said, I just like to, especially being, a director of Detroit Black Bowlers, which is huge because there's not a lot of things in life African Americans can call their own. So for you guys to start that is a big thing. But my question is to you, Team B, which started, like you said, for African Americans because we weren't allowed to bowl back then with other people. But do you feel the month of February, TNBA should have posted something every day in recognition for Black History Month?
Not just then. I think the TNBA has missed several opportunities to promote in the proper way. We've got in our city, we've got a guy that was TNBA Bowler of the Year, I believe, in Greg Smith, and nobody even knew about it, hardly. there should have been posters. There should have been uh, different things around. We've got, like I said, Candace Bradley. We've got Naomi Smith. These things should be promoted. The TNBA is not good at promotion. And the other thing the TNBA has done is they seem like too self-serving of an organization because they send too much money upstairs instead of giving it back to the bowlers, which would increase the participation from the bowlers. Bowlers need to get that money back. It's already a sport that's not paying like tennis and golf and those other sports. So these guys that are spending their money, guys and girls, you know, men and women that are spending their money to travel to different places across the country should be able to see some value for their performances by getting a fair amount of the money back in the prize fund and not overfunding the organization.
There you go. There you go. So have you ever thought about stepping in or trying to do something with TNBA?
I've thought about it, but you know, it's almost like, you know, can you take that big of a bite of the elephant, you know, that's already a grown elephant? So it just seemed like too big of a thing. You know, it's like a politician that wants to get into politics to change things. And before you know it, they see they can't change it. So they just quit politics or they become part of that political machine. And for me, that would have been worse and hypocritical to do that and then become a part of it and ultimately be one of the officers that's getting some of that money that I think should go back to the bowlers. So no, it wouldn't fit with me.
But you say it won't fit with you, but sometimes, dude, we have to come in and change that mindset of what's already there. And that's where I think we mess up, because in our mind, we know what needs to be done, but at the same time, we don't make that step over. It's just like, look, guys, we've been doing this for so long. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but we knew we need to if we want to make this continue with this success that we've had so far, changes is going to have to be made. You can't keep running the same thing over and over again and keep beating this old horse, and he's going to do the same thing. It's not going to happen.
I agree. I think that's a valid point. I think that's a valid point. I just don't think at that point I was that agent for change. But I think that's valid, Bowtie. I do. Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, like I said, so are you still bowling to this right now?
Yes, I am. I just got back bowling. I've had my second hip replacement. So I'm just starting. I've been bowling again for about 7 or 8 weeks. So, but yes, I'm still bowling. Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh. Hey, see, everybody, they understand. But see, everybody, like I said, I'm just looking at the comments. And everybody understands what we're talking about as far as changes in TNBA. We all know it. We all see it. But until someone actually steps up, we're going to be in the same place right now. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
You know, I think the TNBA is at a crossroad of time right now because this pandemic has really created some additional challenges. So I'm sure, you know, membership's down. Tournament participation will probably be down. You know, the camaraderie, and some bowlers are still going to the tournaments because they recall what it meant and they still want to honor the original meaning of it. But it's tough if you don't win or finish second, you have no value of coming to the tournament that has, you know, hundreds of teams and things like that in there because of a prize fund. Yeah, that's
another good question for you. We're gonna come off of bowling for a minute. We're gonna go back to your personal life. Because we're gonna come back to bowling. Any kids?
Yeah, I have one son. He's 27.
27. With all
people that see him say they can tell he's one son.
look, with all that was going on with being black, with the police, how many conversations have you had with him to just kind of, have that father-son talk? Like, look, dude.
Countless. I can't count how many I've had. I'm still having them because things have, they've gone full circle several times. So he drives to Ann Arbor, which is about 30 miles from here, both for school and work. So he's on the highway a lot, liable to get pulled over a lot. And he's in situations where it's a higher percentage of whites than blacks. So he needs to be careful because everything he sees is not really what he's seeing. So he needs to have his eyes open all the time. I'm talking to him all the time.
There you go. Yeah. Let's see. Denise said, what's the definition of doing the same thing and expecting a different result?
Yep, it's idiocracy and it's stupid, whatever the thing you're trying to get to. However, I'm at the point where I'm not doing the same thing because I'm kind of eating out of the TNBA. But I can't tell everybody else what to do. If the TNBA is waiting on at least in this discussion, if the TNBA is waiting on someone as a forerunning leader to go in there, that's not my calling. I've talked to other people that have been in and out of that situation as tournament directors, and they've gone in, and because of the same thing, I'm not going to list their names but from other cities that have been tournament directors of some of these other tournaments, and they've went in, tried to induce change, and it didn't happen, and they did what probably I would have. They backed out. Not just from the financial standpoint, even from a lane condition standpoint. Tournament directors supposed to be able to direct the tournament with lane conditions and everything like that, and format of the tournament.
Right.
These particular individuals weren't allowed to do that after a year or two, so they backed out because the TNBA machine didn't quite allow it.
There you go. Let's see. Gregory Lee Smith said, what has allowed or helped you to continue to compete at a high level for all these years?
I would think, hey, Greg, how you doing? You and your family, hello to you. Staying in some type of physical shape, and one of the things is not quitting. A lot of bowlers have quit for a few years and then attempted to come back. My career has been consistent. So I think you lose something when you drop out a few years and attempt to come back, but staying in some type of physical shape, either through exercise or hopefully through bowling. And then I've never been, other than my hip operations, I've never been hurt. So as a result of bowling, I've had a sore wrist here and there, but no injuries has certainly helped all of these. Oh. And right now I've got a very good ball driller, so that's keeping me on top. So
they say every black man with a son has had that talk a number of times. Yeah, agreed. You have to. You have to. Let's see. Daryl Evans, I said, I've noticed that individual bowlers are inducted. Is there a time when a full team will get recognition? There have been some great team play over the decades.
Yeah, Daryl, that's an interesting question. I haven't known of a multiple induction, of a team, multiple person induction of a team, but certainly if a team has made multiple accomplishments, I think it would be something to be considered. Yep. In our case, in the Black Bowlers Hall of Fame case, I would say yes, because we have and will induct Lafayette Allen's team, the first team to bowl in the ABC, as well as the Tip Motel men's team that included Lavert English, Chuck Walker, Leo Elliott, Matt Troop, and I forget the fifth. But yeah, in our particular case, we can definitely justify some team inductions the ladies Motown Records team, and others as we go through them. And in terms of an organization, this the whole Fantastics organization, led by Archie Denard, and everybody knows the Denards and the bowling club that they started. They were a forerunner of a lot of this stuff themselves. I think, and it's just my opinion, I only have one vote though. I think the Fantastics, led by Archie Denard, are deserving to be recognized in the Hall of Fame because they were forerunners as well.
There you go. Look, Gerald Johnson said Edwin Peart should be in the TNBA Hall of Fame. What's the holdup? Two-time Bill Rodman champion. Like I said, man.
One of the things, and me and Gerald Stroker have discussed this several times. He's a multiple champion as well, and people question the TNBA structure, but hey, it is what it is. I've never been high on, and it could be a fault. I've never been high on self-promotion. So my Greater Detroit Bowling Association Hall of Fame recognition just came in 2018. So although I was recognized by the SSO a lot quicker in 2020 for my limited membership there, but sometimes things take time. I don't self-promote. I'm the type that typically lets other people talk about me rather than me talk about myself. I think that's in the Bible somewhere. You're supposed to let other people talk about you. So that's what I do. One of the things in terms of when you're in, just like Gerald mentioned that, for me, and this is just me, as long as the bowlers know, and in my case, and you look at my track record,
yeah,
in every particular arena other than the singles pro tour, I've won. So the bowlers know. So that's all I'm concerned with, and I know. So
that's all that counts there, right there. You already know.
For me, that's all that counts.
Yeah. Let's see. He said, "What about the Powerhouse Five?" We talked about it, but he said he was undefeated for 4 years.
Yep, that's what we talk about. That's that team that won the state, and that's actually Dad Junior Dawson is actually the founder of the Detroit Black Bowlers Hall of Fame. So everything that's on the site is the birth child of Mr. Dawson there. So yeah.
Hey, Lloyd Pruitt might be that fifth bowler. He was.
Absolutely. And how could I miss him? Because I talk to him like every couple of months. He lives in Florida. Some great stories with Lloyd. Yeah, some great ones.
Look, Sebo, what up?
Quickly,
Sebo?
he was walking down he said he was walking down the aisle of an airplane with his this is uncensored show, with his white label in his hand, a glass of white label. He said the plane fell 40 feet and he didn't lose a drop. He is a funny man.
Oh man. Look, Sebo asks, Peart, do you feel that the younger generation understand the path that you have paved for us as African-American bowlers?
I don't believe all of them have, but I believe a higher majority than what I originally thought does. And it's very refreshing to know. I know one of the things that I'd like us to continue is, and this is part of the Detroit Black Bowlers Hall of Fame thing, is that education. And it's, wasn't just me. What about people like Cliff Crane or Roosevelt Bell, or bowlers that weren't as talented, but opened those doors as well? Sebo, your father, your family, people that made the sacrifice to make sure that you got there so you could be the great bowler that you are. So it's nice to have been and still remembered as one of those trailblazers that opened the door and paved the way for us African-American bowlers, because certainly that Stroh's experience was one that was bittersweet, based upon a lot of the things that I went through. But I tell you, when you see the bowlers now, you see the Carltons, you see the Jordan Horns, you see the Ronnie Sparks, Lonnie Jones. I could name them all. Ken Rogers,
Jeremy Dixon,
Andre Johnson, Gerald Johnson, just a few years behind me. But yeah, what he's done has just been tremendous with 40 or 50. I don't even, count them now, but as many titles that he's had. But when you see these young bowlers, the Jeremys, and when I say the Jeremys, you could pick whichever one you want, Thomas or Dixon. It's just so many bowlers, and and then there are other forerunners that we don't even mention, with David Chappelle, Terry Dockery, who's won the City Masters at a young age. It was still when racism was still high at the time and prejudice. So there are so many. Cheryl Daniels, I've named so many already, but it's not just one, but so many forerunners you forget the names. Lionel Williams mentioned Kit Floyd. It's so many.
And see what's crazy, like I'm gonna put this right here. Denise Blackman said it would be really cool to see pictures and small bios of our Black bowlers that paved the roads, like picks up at the national events of all the white bowlers, even if TNBA hangs them themselves. I strongly agree. That would be absolutely amazing to see.
We've been asking for any pictures of older generation bowlers, and we've been getting them, and we've been hanging them on the websites as much as we can. Some of it is a challenge because they haven't been chronicled in one place, so they come from different spots.
Right.
Yeah. But yes, that is something that we are going to attempt to do, because you see some of these bowlers, these older bowlers, Judge Webb, Jack Fisher. I mean, these names are just names that many of the younger bowlers don't know. But in terms of talent, they were every bit as talented as the bowlers now. Scores are a little higher now because of the conditions and the powerful balls and the different things like that.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about dedication, and you talk about somebody like John Barnhill that took a bus to Denver from Detroit to bowl.
To Denver, Colorado?
Yeah. That's dedication. And that's the type of, moxie and dedication that it took to open the doors. He knew how important it was that he bowled in there. He knew how important it was.
Wow. That's all I can say. Wow.
Bobby Williams, that bowled in all of these tournaments in all these professional tournaments, and the things that were happening to him in terms of the deceit and the unleveling of the playing field for him, and he's still excelling every single week. That's crazy for them to be cheating with equipment and different things, but he's still excelling every.
I don't know if it's another look. She's trying to look. I said Denver, Colorado. Is there another Denver? It could be. I don't know, but I just wanted to make sure he was talking about Denver, Colorado.
Yeah.
Don't try to play me, Denise. Shoot. Let's see. Yeah. Video. Let's say. Baby Williams.
He's trying to say it's a video of Bobby Williams on CBS in the 1972 U.S. Open. So that's one where Bobby Williams, the guy I was just talking about, made the TV show.
Okay.
And so he's either has a copy of the video. I know there's one going around.
Right. Hey, Daryl said, can you please mention the website URL for those who do not know it? The website for what, the Detroit Black Bowlers Hall of Fame? Which one are you talking about, Daryl? Once you give us that answer, we can make sure something goes up.
Yep.
Let's see. Darren Flowers said Barnhill. Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Yep.
Like I say, Ace Kilgore was a fantastic bowler in his day.
Yeah, that's who I was mentioning, Ace Maurice Kilgore, that used to tremendous hustler too. So
It
he's
seems
one
like
that
a lot of
taught me a
people in
lot.
Detroit. It seems like a lot of people in Detroit are hustlers.
I don't know if I want you to stereotype that, but
I don't know, man.
we try to know how to get the advantage when we put our money down. Let's call it like that.
Oh, he said yes. The Black Bowler Hall of Fame.
Yep, I'll defer that to Daryl Dawson, Dad Jr. to text it on there, and it'll come
Yeah,
across when you
there
text.
you go. Hey, Daryl, text it on there. Look, let's see. He putting you out there. Who's your favorite teammate of all time?
Oh wow! Didn't you say this was a hot seat?
Hey, that's Gerald Johnson asking that. I'm just saying.
Hey, I would have to say, when I look back over the teammates that I've had over the years, and I've had them in many places, it would not have been anybody in the All Star Classic. Mine would have come from my favorite teammates would have come from Southfield Bowl and or Thunder Bowl. So
Okay.
and me and Gerald have won in both of those places multiple times. It seems like when we link up, and I want to clear up something right now.
Okay.
Stroker is probably my best teammate of all time. And because we're close as brothers, doesn't mean that we always have to bowl together. So um, we won the league, I think, on Wednesday, the last time that we bowled together. And then
Uh,
after that season, we both bowled on two different teams. Uh, People were attempting to try to find some friction inside of that, but there is none. So I needed to straighten that out. We love each other. He is my favorite teammate. We have two different personalities that just mesh as far as a team is concerned, and generally we always win when we're in a team situation. When we're in a team situation, so
oh, hey, I don't know, man. Carlita said it was her, so I ain't trying to start nothing, but I'm just saying.
Stroker meant his male team, my male teammate.
Oh no. He didn't say male. He didn't. No, I'm not gonna let you bail out like that. Mm-mm.
Carlita and I have only bowled a couple of times. Stroker and I go decades, so I'm gonna have to stand. I'm gonna have to stand firm with that one, Carlita, but I'll have to make it up to you.
Look, James Hardy said more pressure needing a strike to win or a 5-foot putt to win.
Well, pressure is something you put on yourself. So I'm not putting any pressure on myself to strike, because you only have, like Bobby Williams used to tell me, you only have control from the back of the back of the approach to the foul line, and I can't putt anyway. So and there's no pressure to make a putt.
Oh man, that is funny.
You know what? There was a guy named Benny Berry that helped me with one of the things that he said. He said,
Right.
with the way we all grew up, he said, and been in situations in the street and things like that, we've had a lot more things and a lot of possible hurtful things than not striking. So it's no need to get nervous about needing a strike when you've already been in the situation and you've not struck before. But you just want to keep your strike percentage up. Not going to
Right.
strike. Even if you throw it good, you're not going to strike it.
You're right. So all you can do is throw good shots. That's all I say. Throw it good.
Right. Right.
Hey. Well, Peart, man, it's been an honor, a blessing to get all this information. I'm glad I got to finally get you on the show.
It's an honor to be here.
My next Detroit Black Bowler Hall of Famer I'm trying to get on is Miss Cheryl Daniels. And I know, between you and Daryl, somebody can make it happen. because it's a lot of information that people don't know about her.
Yes, yeah. Another fantastic person too. Another forerunner. And she was doing her thing on the tour when it was difficult as well. So. But hey, difficulty is part of the thing, so can't cry about it.
Uh-oh.
What it is.
Hold on, look. Gerald Sansa said, "Peart, tell him the pressure story real quick about Tip."
So, so, so this guy Tip Baldwin was a business owner. He owned a couple of party store. He owned a hotel that sponsored Tip Motel, that team that I was talking to you about. But this guy was a street hustler and took care of his business in terms of numbers and whatever else he would do in the street. And he would come and he would practice where we would practice at Central City. And he had a very timid voice, but a very tough individual. Cowboy hat, cowboy boots is how he rolled in terms of dress. But he would say, "Young fellas, I don't understand how y'all do it." He said, "I done had guns to my head, and I've taken a person or two out and almost been taken out myself. But when I get on 3 or 4 strikes, I'm just so nervous and sweating, I don't know what to do." It was hilarious. I mean, and this guy was successful in everything else he tried to do. He said, "I would be so nervous. I don't know how y'all do it." He said, I'm more, honored and to know that you're yeah. He wasn't scared of any of those guns. He gets 3 or 4 in a row.
Pointed at his head, the whole shebang, but he get on 4-bagger and he like, boy.
He lose it. He starts sweating. He starts shaking and everything. Yep.
Wow. Wow. That's a good one there. That is a good one.
Yeah. He was serious. He wasn't joking.
Oh, he was not joking.
No, he wasn't joking. He'd get on 3 or 4 or 5 in a row and get dead nervous and couldn't hardly throw it. He was serious.
Wow.
But he could handle his business, obviously, in the streets. He wasn't no joke in the street.
Oh.
Yes, sir.
Wow. That is funny. But look, hey guys, share this video, man. We want Peart to get out there because a lot of people may not know him, may not know his story. And the reason why we brought him on is to get to know Edwin Peart, to get to hear the history of Detroit. And he gave us some great history.
And the last thing I'd just like to say before I leave is the Detroit Black Bowling Hall of Fame is that we're going to be garnering support for this Black Bowling Hall of Fame through patrons and patron participation. And you can see we have some Detroit Black Bowling Hall of Fame gear. I'm looking at the wrong gear that we will be providing to patrons. So that'll be up on the website as well on how you can support it, because our ultimate goal is to get somewhere like within the Frank Wright African American Museum and get a spot inside of there, a small corner inside of there where we can highlight this. So we're ultimately going to have a permanent home, hopefully with our collaboration with the Fantastics and Archie Denard and his affiliation with the African American Museum. It'll be there, but it starts with individual support and patron support so we can do what we want to do. And your patron support does not go unrewarded, because there are t-shirts out there, hats, it's different things like that that you can see on when Dawson loads the website support. So your support gets rewarded in exchange for some gear that you can wear. So,
hey Dawson, make sure you put the website on there. Make sure you put the Facebook page on there. Put it all out there, man. Let people know what it is, and so we can get out there and support it. Seriously.
Yep. And thank you, Bowtie, for having me. Thanks everybody for listening to my story. I appreciate it.
Oh man, I appreciate you, brother. Seriously. I appreciate you and all the information. And like I said, I'm sure when I make it back to Detroit, I'll give you a call. Maybe we can, link up and do something.
Absolutely. I would love to have you. And I just before I get out of here, from what I understand, you might have had Gerald Johnson on the show before.
Oh man, I had him on the show a couple of times. That is my guy there.
Did he say he gets nervous when he needs a strike?
I've
Did you
never heard that. No, never.
did you ask him?
I never. Oh, hey, matter of fact, don't worry. I'll put him back on the show. We're gonna put him back in the hot seat. And I know you got some questions, and I know you got some questions.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask him who his favorite teammate was.
Yeah, we'll get him back on here. Don't worry about that. So be
Yeah,
ready.
but I love the
When I
forum.
get back on here, I will text you and let you know, hey, Stroker coming on.
Okay, and I just wanted to say I love the forum that you're putting out there. We certainly appreciate the vehicle that you're putting out there because it's helping spread the word for the things that we need said. So I appreciate that in you.
Oh, absolutely, man. Thank you. Like I said,
Yeah.
I have people in my corner that keeps pushing me and say, hey, Brandon, don't let this go. You got something good. Keep pushing. So I have people in my corner, and Stroker is one of them. So,
yep,
and now you are, man. So I truly appreciate that.
Yep. All righty.
All right, brother, man. Have a great evening.
Yep. God bless everybody. Yep. God bless you.
God bless. Guys, that was Edwin Peart. If you missed it, man, he had great things said. He had talked about just Detroit, period. You know, the Black Mecca of bowling. They had a lot of bowlers coming out of there. You know, he's seen a lot. So, like, if you missed it, if you didn't hear the show, man, go back and listen. I encourage you to go back and listen to the shows because we clearly see bowlers in the bowling alley, but have no clue, nothing about their life or how they got there, what made them choose this route. If they ever got caught up in the streets and bowling changed, we don't know. And that is the reason why I came and I presented this platform to you guys is because of that, man. So I truly appreciate everybody that has supported me through this. And guys, all we're going to do is continue to get better. So thank you guys, man. As always, hey, God bless. Take care of yourself, man. Bowtie out. Peace.